There is finally a break today from relentless rain and winds. Take 30 News is live. I'm Dondria Blanchard.
I'm Tori Boatner. Thanks for joining us today. Our area remains on alert for flooding. That's because so much rain has fallen in such a short amount of time. Campus Connect meteorologist Emily Acton joins us now with a deeper look at the impact of our area. Emily, exactly how much rain has fallen over the last few days?
Well, thank you, Tori. Yes, we've seen tons of rain in the past couple of days. We've seen over the past 5 days a little bit over 6 inches, and that is just almost record breaking. But we have seen, at least in the past 24 hours, a little bit over 2 inches here in Starkville, and a little bit places north to us in Aberdeen. We've seen a little bit over 2 inches, and those are a concern to us now because of the flooding issues. There's creeks up there in Aberdeen that are at risk of flooding, along with the Octop County Lake is under a flash flood watch. So definitely be on the lookout for that.
So with more rain next week, what does that mean for people who live near creeks or lakes?
Well, like I was saying, Tori, we are under an aerial flood warning, and that will last until 10:45 tomorrow morning. So they are opening shelters, I know, around here in Starkville and around in Oktibbeha County. So that's what we have going on, and the rain will end in the next couple of days.
Thanks, Emily. A warning is expected to be issued this evening for people living near the Oktibbeha County Lake. The rain is bringing the water level to what engineers say may be an emergency level. This means people nearby will need to evacuate. The search for higher ground carries over into Clay County. Several homeowners along Highway 50 near the Tom Bigby River Bridge are already heading for higher ground. Mississippi isn't the only place underwater. In Knoxville, Tennessee, some students remain on break. Schools in the county are closed for the 3rd week in a row because buses can't cross flooded roads. High water is preventing some people from leaving their homes. Others are boating to the grocery store. Another Mississippi inmate has died while in custody. It's the 16th inmate death in just 6 weeks. The Mississippi Department of Corrections says foul play isn't suspected in this case.
But the death comes at a time when 4 state prisons are under investigation. Take 30's Monica Mosley joins us live after a behind bars interview with an inmate that you'll only see on Take 30 News. Monica?
Justice is investigating the penitentiary at Parchman, the Southern Mississippi Correctional Institute, Wilkinson County Correctional Facility, and the Central Mississippi Correctional Facility. I spoke with a man who spent time at one of these facilities. For his protection, he's asked we conceal his identity. He says he's speaking out because he says something has to be done.
C20 control, can I get 319 open, 319?
That's the sound everyone hears when entering any correctional facility in Mississippi. The Department of Justice launched an investigation after a lawsuit was filed on behalf of the inmates at the East Mississippi Correctional Facility in Meridian, Mississippi. Winston County Sheriff Jason Pugh says that this is the result of bribery and embezzlement throughout the justice system. In May of 2019, Christopher Epps, former Mississippi Corrections Commissioner, was sentenced to 41 months in prison, followed by 3 years of parole for receiving financial compensation for bribes. Just last week, John Davis, the former head of the Mississippi Department of Human Services, was arrested for taking millions of dollars from a family welfare program. Many find it hard to trust the system and feel betrayed. They have nothing but sympathy and support for these inmates suffering.
They won't take your calls. They don't care. I don't know if they were told by the Senate and the House to play hardball to get the job done, but this is where they've left the Department of Corrections in Mississippi.
Overcrowding, a lack of food, and a lack of protection have haunted these facilities, leaving the inmates to suffer like animals.
At Central Mississippi, it's very overcrowded. They actually have a count sheet where they have guys on the floor where they do count, and it's called a floor count.
There are not enough guards on staff to watch inmates, leaving them to rely on gang affiliations and self-segregation for protection.
You've got 25 of these guys, 30 of these guys, and they all come to you, and they're preaching, hey, you know, you got to have some protection over here, you know, come over here and we got you.
Until then, inmates will have to survive the best they can.
Who died recently had been in state custody since 1993. An autopsy is pending. Andrea?
Thank you, Monica. Afraid to go to Walmart because they might be murdered? That's the reality for some Native American women. Take 30's Autumn McMillan spoke with one group on a local reservation, raising awareness about an issue they say we don't discuss enough.
The Choctaw Central High School Winter Guard team is taking the opportunity to use their show to raise awareness for the missing and murdered Indigenous women.
But this one is more important to our Native people and also Indigenous country because this topic isn't really talked about at all in the news media. It's just
This year's show is titled Am I Next?, which is an emotional eye-opener for the members.
I go to Walmart here and there by myself, and sometimes I'm paranoid of like, am I going to be taking like the other Native American girls?
I do get paranoid once in a while. I don't go to Walmart alone. I usually go with friends. But then again, in Walmart, there's like people following you, and like you just don't ever know what's gonna happen.
The process of putting the show together started last April after the team attended Dayton, Ohio for the Winter Guard Championships.
I came across a picture that really caught my interest and kind of played off of that. It was actually the missing and murdered Indigenous women photo that was in the Smithsonian, and it had a background of the woods, and it had red dresses hanging up.
The color red is very symbolic to the missing and murdered Indigenous women. Whether it's through the red dresses or even the red handprint that they have, the color red is very symbolic to them because it represents all the stolen sisters. I'm Autumn McMillan for Take 30 News.
Take 30 reached out to several families with missing loved ones. None of them were willing to go on camera for this story. One said it's because they didn't want to relive the trauma. A missing 6-year-old girl has been found dead, according to authorities. Investigators in South Carolina had been door to door looking for anyone who may have information about a missing 6-year-old girl. The last time anyone saw Faye Marie Swetlick, she was playing in her front yard after school. Investigators are now treating this case as a homicide. The sheriff says that his deputies have also discovered the body of a man in the same area. Video shows her getting off the school bus Monday afternoon, not long after she disappeared. Neighbors have helped the investigators by sharing footage from doorbell cameras. No arrests have been made at this time. A tragedy turned to a calling and a potential life-changing drug for those with peanut allergies. We'll tell you about it when we come back in 90 seconds.
This is the best thing going at Mississippi State right now.
We are doing so many different things that we learned in the classroom that we are now getting to apply that I didn't even think that we would get to apply.
It's really invaluable. People that you meet, the connections that you're going to make are priceless as well.
PRISM is going to prepare you for the future.
You're getting something that most college students don't get in this major.
Just go for it. Like, there's really nothing to lose. You can only go up.
The real world experience is here while also getting the college credit.
There's so many different aspects to it outside of public relations.
We can use anybody's interest and anybody's expertise to really kind of go into public relations, because public relations is really all-inclusive.
Don't let the name hold you back from applying, because we do need more people other than public relations.
A peanut allergy is scary. In fact, it's the most common allergy diagnosed in kids. It can cause wheezing and then the throat to tighten up to make it hard to breathe. Your skin could itch or break out in hives. But a recent medical breakthrough may help with these symptoms. It's called Palforzia, and it's the first ever treatment for food allergies. It's FDA approved and will be available for kids ages 4 through 17. As a first treatment scientist, hope this will benefit children's health in the long run. When the rain stopped and the snow moon lit up the sky this past weekend, NASA says Native American tribes from the northern eastern United States named the moon because of its heavy snow in February. Sometimes described as a supermoon, the full moon is in its 4th largest of the year. You can get another chance to see the supermoon on March 9th. Until then, you'll have to settle for regular stargazing. Unconditional love is what former NBA star Dwayne Wade has for his children. That includes his daughter Zaya, who identifies as a transgender girl. Wade says his children have received negative comments on social media. But in a sit-down with talk show host Ellen DeGeneres, Wade says him and his family are very proud of his daughter. They do not care what others have to say. Retired NBA All-Star Dwayne Wade opened up about supporting his daughter, who identifies as a transgender girl. Wade says him and his wife, Gabrielle Union, believe their job as parents are to list and give the best feedback possible. Most people know him as an actor, but if you're familiar with the wrestling, you probably have heard of Dwayne Johnson, also known as The Rock. Is thought to be one of the most electrifying wrestlers in sports entertainment. Now his daughter is following in his footsteps. 18-year-old Simone Johnson hopes to become the 4th generation wrestler. She begins training this week at WWE Training Center. How would you respond to a loved one's death? One woman turned to flowers. We'll tell you her story right after this.
Prism is a full-service media marketing agency that students are the ones that do these communication projects for off-site clients.
What excited me about it was that it gave me that real-life PR firm experience.
I really wanted that real-world experience. I wanted to be able to feel like I was working in an environment that was actually like making a difference.
We're not just turning in an assignment, you get a grade and you're done. We have to turn it in, but we also have to see it through to make sure that it's doing how we have expected it to do, to make sure that it's a well representation of our clients.
I can write things down on paper all day, but it's very different when you're actually getting out there and like making those moves.
We get to see our products come to life in a different aspect and seeing them go out into the real world.
This is kind of mirrors that in a way, whereas like students, oh my gosh, students are literally working for clients and they're posting on this person's social media like it's like an internship, but at the same time it's like this is how it is in the real world.
I love that moment where the things you've been learning in the classroom for the last like 2, 3, 4 years as a student in PR, the moment where it clicks and the moment where you're like, oh, that's why we do that, that's why we learn that, or that's why this makes sense, or that's why this is important, and getting to kind of see that moment or experience that moment for myself where I'm like, okay, that's why this, 20-page research paper I wrote last semester actually matters, and this is how I'm using it.
The most rewarding part about working with a real-world client has to be just making connections. And you get to know people, you get to know, high-up people.
Every single day is 100% different than the next day, which makes it really fun and dynamic, and it's a really culture of agency lifestyle in itself. You never do the same thing every single day in an agency lifestyle, so we wanted to make sure Prism had that.
If you want to be the person that stands out, on a resume or a job interview or anything like that, when they see Prism, that's what's going to make you stand out.
Losing a child is something no parent should have to experience, especially by death by suicide. Take 30's Kayla Mina joins us now with how one local mother is turning to flowers, expressing her grief in a unique way.
Markeela Bishop, a mother of 3, had no idea she would lose her son at just the young age of 19. After his passing, Markeela says her son inspired her to follow her lifelong dreams.
June 2nd, 2016, the day that Markeela Bishop lost her son.
I went through depression, and it's like something came to me and told me it's time for you to do what you love to do.
Ms. Bishop used her grief to spark her creative side.
I stepped out on faith, and I done a flower for him, and I posted it on Facebook. I got like a whole bunch of likes off of that one flower, first flower I ever done.
Though flowers are her specialty, Bishop decided to expand her talents to decorative art pieces and gift baskets.
She do great work. I mean, I haven't seen anything yet that she's done I didn't like.
Word quickly spread around town about Bishop's talents. She says that Valentine's Day is one of the busiest times of the year for her.
Day of Valentine. That's when it really picks up that day, and maybe 2 days before.
But she is not in this alone. Bishop says her daughter is a great helper.
I have a 12-year-old, and she actually can do everything that I do.
Ms. Bishop's business has been doing so well that she's even thinking about relocating from her home on Bishop Road into an actual building. Though she still mourns the loss of her son, she says that he is her guiding angel and that he keeps her going.
I can hear my son say, "You can do it, keep going, just keep going." It's a motivation, and it helps me a whole lot.
One of her top goals is to put her works in a magazine one day. Tori?
Thank you, Kayla. You may have noticed something new at the checkout counter in your local gas station. Take 30's Cameron Lander shows us how Mississippians are testing their luck statewide with the launch of the new lottery.
People across Mississippi have been flocking to their local gas stations ever since scratch-off tickets came to the state near the end of last year. Recently, that buzz has doubled down with the new Mississippi Powerball and Mega Millions hitting countertops across the state January 30th. In the last half of 2019, the state reported over $49 million raised, and with the new Powerball and Mega Millions jackpots out, the Mississippi Lottery Commission expects that number to get a big boost.
They're getting more tickets, they'll exchange it for a different ticket just to keep the game rolling, so I think it's pretty interesting.
The last Powerball was drawn February 8th, and there was no winner, which means the new jackpot has been pushed up to $70 million. That's close to the state of Mississippi's entire lottery revenue from scratch-offs for the past year. Odds for correctly guessing every Powerball number is 1 in 292 million, but those numbers aren't stopping people from having confidence that their ticket is the big winner. State reps, gas stations, and customers alike all seem to have something to get excited about.
Mega Millions right here.
I have a lot of people that come in and win. Actually, the other day I had a man come in and win $400 off of the $25,000 payday.
Here at the Sprint Mall on Highway 12, Ron told just this week someone won over $200 in the Mississippi Powerball. Revenue from all Mississippi lotteries goes to the state treasury for roads and highways. Take 30 News, I'm Cameron Lander.
We'll get you caught up on everything happening on the Diamond. Take 30 Sports is next.
I'm Cash Matlock from the Wednesday crew in the fall of 2018.
Learning, growing, becoming. Take 30 News at MSU.
My name is Donovan Andrade. I graduated from a high school in the Middle East. I wanted to find a college that best suits home for me, and I found it here. Out of all of the universities, Mississippi State tops them all. MSU's theater program is unique to me because it's challenging, it's energetic, and it can also make you very open-minded to the world. Theater has its own community where you're never really alone. Everyone around you is family, and it felt like home.
You hear about it most every week in the fall. Some player, somewhere, is fighting for his life after a head injury. Those are the days when the game stops being a game. So I started thinking about armors in nature. For example, rams are protected when they collide. Could that guiding principle be applied to football helmets? We're replicating this process with the hopes of reducing concussions. We're taking strides to save lives. Why do we do this? For the praise? To be esteemed as research pioneers? No, not at all. This is for them, the kids, and making sure the game keeps being a game.
Baseball season is soon to be in full swing, and baseball fans are ready to return to Dudy Noble.
The 2020 baseball season is upon us, but the inclement weather around Starkville is having a big impact on the beginning of the season. After Cowbell Yell's cancellation this week, MSU baseball fans were left disappointed. Senior accounting student Brittany Dennison is upset about missing her last Cowbell Yell.
I love Cowbell Yell. I go there like every time they have it. So it's my senior year of school, my last one, and now they canceled it, so it's kind of a bummer.
Things were not looking great this week in Starkville weather, but it made sense to cancel Cowbell Yell. Fans are still let down though. Aside from Cowbell Yell's abrupt cancellation, fans are excited to see how head coach Chris Lamonis and his team play this year. Nirmal Bhatt is nostalgic for his time at Left Field Lounge last year.
I did go to a couple of games last year, and while I had never been to a baseball game before, it was definitely a different experience.
Will Bobs is ready to see JT Ginn's progress from last season and how he'll play this year.
I like watching JT Ginn. He's a great pitcher. Just watching him play, watching his fastballs.
Assistant Athletic Director Rhett Hobart is confident about the season.
We're excited for baseball, and it'll be a great year coming on back-to-back College World Series appearances.
Despite the drab weather this week, forecasts predict a clear, sunny day on Friday. Tickets can be purchased on hailstate.com or at the ticket booth on Friday. I'm Drew Gardner for Take 30 News.
That's it for sports. Valentine's Day is tomorrow, but just how much is normal to spend on Valentine's Day? The answer when Take 30 returns.
Everyone remembers their favorite teddy bear, the reassuring love of their first puppy. They comforted us and made us laugh. For children battling abusive situations or post-traumatic stress disorder, the memories aren't as pleasant. That's why at Mississippi State University, we're pioneering a robotic technology that brings healing to those exposed to traumatic situations. Known as Therabot, MSU's robotic beagle includes lifelike features that allow it to move in ways that are both natural and nurturing. Its ultimate goal? To bridge the gap between two types of effective therapy, using real animals and their plush counterparts for emotional assistance. At MSU, we're proud to be changing the game in therapeutic recovery. Even prouder to be putting lives back together again.
Have you ever thought about becoming a teacher, but the challenges of life or travel restrictions keep holding you back? Mississippi State can get you there. With our convenient online courses, you can earn a degree in elementary education while learning from MSU professors on a schedule that works for you. And the best part? Graduates enjoy high job placement across the state. So why wait? Take the first step toward a better, more fulfilling career, no matter where you are.
College is full of different personalities and experiences.
But one MSU student is in a league of his own. Take 30's Jay Stanley caught up with that student.
I ain't been wearing shoes since the day I was born up to now.
This is MSU student Billy Gerald. Some of you have probably seen him walking around campus and wondered, why is he barefoot?
Most people kind of walk out their door and think, well, I ought to put my shoes on before I go, but that just never occurs to me.
And Gerald does attribute some credit in his own words.
But there's all these puddles around, and due to that great Mississippi State infrastructure of building a bunch of crooked things, how am I ain't gonna not jump in any of these puddles, I don't know.
But there's still more to it.
On my way to class one day, my older brother, who happened to be a student here at the time, he said, hey, you know you don't have to wear shoes to class. And that must have been about a week into school. And when he told me that, I was so happy to take them right back off again.
Now, Gerald seems to think that he doesn't have to wear shoes to class. But is he in the wrong? And is he breaking any rules?
When questioned about MSU's dress policy, Dr. Regina Hyatt, the Vice President for Student Affairs here at MSU, issued a statement which reads, yes, we do have a student who does this. He ran for homecoming court this past year. We don't have any policy I am aware of that requires students to wear shoes to classes. The only situation I can think of where specific attire is required is in laboratories where shoes and other protective clothing will be required. There may be other limitations regarding health and safety concerns that I am not immediately thinking of. And as for Gerald, he says he's going to continue doing what he does. I'm Jay Stanley reporting for Take 30 News.
Gerald says he's happy to talk to people on campus who ask him about his bare feet.
That's all the time we have for tonight.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here next week. Remember, you can always follow Take 30 on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram.